Hello students, welcome to online classes of SEMStar Global School. I'm Fizza Akhtar. We were doing this poetry, Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I told the summary yesterday. Those who are joining for the first time, please see that video and then come here. Before moving towards the line-by-line explanation, let us read the poetry, the whole poetry once, and then we'll proceed. Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well known those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." So I'm starting with the first 8 lines of this poetry today. And for these first 8 lines, we'll see the line-by-line explanation of it. So as I've told you, this poem talks about Ozymandias, a Greek name for the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II. And he considered himself to be the greatest and mightiest ruler. But obviously one day he has to die, and eventually now what is left behind is his broken statue in the desert. So this poem basically focuses on the fact that nobody can beat time. And rulers eventually who had forgotten that they cannot be eternal and they had to die one or the other day. Now I'm starting with the line-by-line explanation. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert." Antique means ancient. Vast means big. And trunkless means without the upper body or without a body. So the poem begins, and the author is telling that he has met a traveller from an antique land. Now because I've told you that Ozymandias was the Greek name of the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II. This means that the antique land refers here as the old Egypt. So this traveller who is from an antique land, who is from an ancient land, he tells the poet that he has seen a broken statue. That broken statue is having 2 vast legs of stone that is without the upper body, and it is in the desert. It is trunkless, it is without the upper body. Next it says, near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies. So this traveller has seen a statue that was broken. It was having 2 big legs of stone, and it was lying in the desert without the upper body. And near them, near the legs of stone, he saw a broken face was also lying there. Visage, I told you, face. So a broken face was lying, and it was half sunk. It was buried in the sand. Next it's written, whose frown and wrinkled lips and sneer of cold command. Now this traveller is explaining the facial expressions. He's saying that it had a frown and a wrinkled lips. Wrinkled lips basically because of the dryness and hotness of the desert, And frown here means it is showing displeasure or the anger on the face. The facial expression was not at all looking happy or smooth, but it was angry and strict. And sneer of cold command. Sneer means arrogant or cruel smile. And cold command here means the harsh and the cruel decisions and commands that was given by the ruler. This phrase, sneer of cold command, it basically shows the harsh and the cruel side of this ruler. He was an egoistic and a very harsh ruler because he thought that he was the only superior person there, and he thought others were inferior and below him. So this expression was showing his cruel and arrogant side. Next it's written, tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. Now the traveler is further saying that tell the sculptor. Sculptor is the person who has actually made the statue. So he's saying the sculptor who has made the statue, he knows and he very well knows the emotions of this ruler. That means he has exactly copied his emotions and his nature in this statue. And the sculptor has copied the emotions so beautifully on this statue that even after years and years have passed, but these emotions, they yet survive. They are still surviving because the sculptor is not there, the ruler is not there, but the emotions are there and they are very beautifully stamped or carved on these lifeless things. What is the lifeless thing here? It is the statue. So the emotions are very beautifully and exactly copied on this statue. Then it's written, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. Mocked, it actually means making fun of somebody or something. But here, according to me, what I think and what I believe is that mocking means to copy. So the traveler is continuously thanking or embracing this sculptor who has actually copied the emotions of the ruler very beautifully on the statue, and also he said the heart that fed, and the nature was also depicted by this statue, the nature of the ruler. So I hope this much is clear to everybody. If you have any problem, please rewind the video, go through it once again very carefully, keep your book in front of you and understand this line by line. So I'll continue with this in the next part. Till then, take care everybody, keep studying, keep revising and be safe. Thank you.